This is Grimm Grinner on all channels.
Welcome to the waste.
Welcome to the wastes.
Welcome to the waste.
Welcome to the wastes.
Welcome to the waste.
Welcome to the wastes.
Welcome to the wastes.
Welcome to the waste.
Welcome to the wastes. Welcome to the wastes.
Welcome to the wastes.
Welcome to the wastes. Good morning, Wasteland. This is Grimm Grinner on all channels. Broadcasting out of the bunker today, Wastelanders, since it would have been a stretch to get back to Burblack before that nasty radstorm ripped through last night. We finally got most of the facilities up and running, including access to the restricted areas intended for staff. Those areas took some real finesse to get into, since without the right key cards, they would have gone into full lockdown and purge after 3 attempts. My best guess is that a purge would have meant with fire, so I'm glad we were able to avoid that. The more time I spend here, the more I discover. Small things mostly, knickknacks from the old world, remnants from previous raider tenants, and relics that I would have never thought I'd see again. Like a small camera for taking photos, and enough film to last at least a decent while. Now, while I could get a decent amount in trade for that, I'm actually looking forward to stashing it in my pack whenever I head out on supply runs or even just exploring. I'm sure there's plenty of other stuff around here I could trade, though. Like some of the old world books and stuff. I mean, it'd be interesting to try and trade some small plant spreads with some wastelanders from the farm as well. So if there are any farmers listening right now, try and contact me via channel 23.25, and we can try and set up a meet near a safe location. Let's see. Scribbled down a few other updates that I was able to catch in the static last night. Balasar and Phoenix Express are looking to get a few extra hands on an important delivery heading extremely close to the Gat walls. Not sure who the recipient is, but if they're that close to the edge of the Urha district, it could be a dangerous run. Pay is double the usual rate, with extra ammo being added as a bonus. So, any wastelanders in need or bounty hunters wanting the work can find a courier posted at a small camp just outside of River's End. Speaking of River's End, there's been a request for any gearheads in that region to make themselves known to the community leader there, a particularly ruthless individual known as Flay. Formerly of the River Rippers, Flay has made a name for himself running a pretty peaceful community out of River's End, but God's help anyone who tries to start trouble in that place. At any rate, Flay is looking for a few good gearheads to help with building a more functional and assault-resistant gate into the town, as well as some siege weaponry. Word is that his former raider buddies didn't take too kindly to him settling down and living the normal life, and have him taking pot shots whenever they get close. So, if you have the skills to help out, I'm sure it'll come with a nice reward. Gonna shift gears a bit here, Wastelanders, and actually talk about something that's been weighing on my mind for a while now. Some of you out there may recall an old broadcast of mine where I played a recording I had from my time at the community called Haven, back in my early days of the Wastes. I spent almost a year in that community, trying to rebuild something of the world we once knew, and at the time clinging to the hope that we could go back to normal, or something reminiscent of what normal was before the fall. I was actually pretty close with a small cluster of survivors there, including Mazzy, the reluctant leader of the community. It's been years since I've been able to take time to think about the people I had spent so much time with in those early months. And yet, over the past few weeks, so many memories have come flooding back. There were maybe 100 people holed up in the cluster of buildings we called our homes. And yet, I think there's only a handful that stand out in my mind. In the past few weeks, my thoughts have definitely been turning to what may have happened to them after the fall of Haven. Especially when you factor in the guilt I have for what happened there. To this day, I've felt a deep sense of responsibility for what happened in Haven, for my part in getting the corporations out there. I had convinced Massey and Trixie to let Lynx help me put together the radio equipment, hoping it would help with the scouting missions looking for survivors and other communities to work with. I mean, back in those days, most of us felt let down by the corporations, but still wanted to trust that they were there to help like they proclaimed. So of course, when we picked up signals from a creep squad offering assistance, even Mazzy thought it was good news. So, for the benefit of Haven, I told them our location. And all I heard back was, the next day, several elite squads showed up at the makeshift gates we had up. Began rounding people up at gunpoint. Some of the guards tried to stop them and fight back, and were immediately dusted. Once the first shots went off, it was over. Bullets and ray blasts back and forth with innocent survivors caught in the crossfire. Pretty sure I caught sight of a few agents dropping, which at the time was a shock since we were all under the impression that the elites were impervious to most weaponry. I was lucky. I kept most of my personal effects in the broadcast tower since it was kind of mine and Lynx's spot. Started running for the back exit and caught sight of my closest friends piling into a beat-up old Stang. Mazzy, Trixie, Dex, and Lynx. Ryder was on his bike, and they were gunning their engines towards a weakened spot at the wall to the east of the main buildings. I'll never forget the look on Mazzy's face. Somewhere between regret and anger. Almost like he hated that I was there and that I had convinced him to set up that radio in the first place. And in the end, I don't blame him for that feeling. Hell, if it hadn't been for me setting that up, Haven might be still standing today. And not be a rundown ruin with corporate logos and mantras posted all over it. I wish I could just tell Mazzy and the others that I'm sorry for bringing down that hell upon them. Fuck. I don't even know if they made it away from Haven. And if they did, where they might have ended up. They could be scattered across the wastes, ghosted, feral, or worst of all, turned corporate. But if anyone from Haven is out there, if you can hear this, I am truly sorry for the part I played in Haven's fall. And as a personal request to any Phoenix Express couriers out there, if any of you have come across a small group of wastelanders in a beast of an old car, one of them's likely wearing a cowboy hat, one might have a guitar, another would be writing in a journal, one would definitely have some distinct claw scars down the left side of her face, and there should be one on a bike with a helmet covered in stickers picked up from various ruins. At least, this is all the last time I saw any of them, which was several years ago now. I don't know if they're still together or what may have happened. But I hope that the bonds they all shared would keep them together. So if you've seen any of them, let me know. I'm willing to pay in caps or supplies for any information that can be provided, even if it's just regarding their deaths. I want to know if they made it at all. Especially, never mind. And any info on the Wastelanders from Haven would be appreciated. I was spending another day here at the bunker before getting en route back to Burblack. Then I've got a quick resupply before hitting a solo run north to meet up with Leopard and Miss Aliker. They need some help sorting out a situation with some Twin Town militia that's been festering for a few days now, so guess the voice of the waste can help out on that one. Anyways, this has been Grimm Grinner, broadcasting on all channels. See you in the wastes. Welcome to the Wastes is a Wasteland podcast brought to you by Edward Grimm Grinner Hutchinson. Feel free to follow me on all social media. Make sure to subscribe so you can hear new episodes as they release. If you like what I do here and want to support the podcast by getting some cool merch, check out my Etsy store. For more information and all the links, check out linktree.com/welcome to the wastes. Thanks for listening.